Talofa, olo e mai mo mai le tautua le ala talua le KVZKTV, Pango Pango, America, Samoa. You are watching KVZKTV Channel 2, Pango Pango, American Samoa.
Voice of the Sea, learning from experts across the ocean.
Welcome to Voice of the Sea.
This time on Voice of the Sea, we catch up with do-it-yourself visionary and engineer Tony Lucere to see what aquaponics can look like in your front yard. Tony created a home aquaponics system complete with wind turbines he designed himself.
Oh,
Hi, Tony.
Hi, nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Yeah, this is my aquaponics. I grow everything we can here. Tomatoes, strawberries, all the different herbs, some broccoli, some arugula, lettuces. And this was our lawn. And that lawn used to take up water and we used to mow it.
So Tony, why did you start this project? I mean, why did you turn your front yard into
this
an aquaponics system?
Yes. Well, I initially started with my wind turbines and my wind turbine design. And what they were is a way to produce your own power in a residential setting. A lot of people, they think they can't do it. Here we have a lot of salt, so solar is not as easy to accommodate here. And so I looked into doing wind turbines. And once I did that, the wind turbines took me to people who needed remote power. And I started seeing they had these little systems here and there. I go, I could do that. And so I took the lawn out and I built this. And I wanted to show that people without an acre or 2 or 3 acres of land could do this in their own front yard. So it gets rid of that excuse, well, I live in a neighborhood, so I can't. You have something like this. If everybody does it, then we all can take care of each other. My next door neighbor may grow something that I don't have, papaya, which I don't have, and so I'll trade him fish or lettuce or something like that for that. We're getting our bananas from Ecuador, and we grow them here in Maui. It's crazy, and how can that possibly be cost effective or even intelligent? And so if we can grow our own food here, and the average person can do it without backbreaking labor, I spend 5 minutes out there a day. It's not a big deal. So if we can get people interested, and I ask as many people as who want to walk through it, and I'll take time to explain it to them because I think it's important that they can do it. And once they figure that I have the power to do it, then they empower themselves, and getting to the children is the key, because if they come at home and they say, Mommy, look what I learned, and then and put the parents on the spot a little bit. And how the system works is you have your fish down here. And this is about 1,200 gallon of water. And this water, they do their business in the water. And then that water gets transferred up through these filters that I've made. This is much like an oil filter on a car. And it takes the solids out of the water. Once the water's been cleaned of the solids, it goes into these bioreactors here that then transfer the water along. It rains down onto river rock. And it transfers the water along the green canals and goes into the manifold at the end. Then initially comes through the strawberries, and these knuckles here regulate the water level in these tubes, and then the water comes into here and fills them up. And so there's no dirt in this system, and it's just the roots.
Oh, wow.
And so the root takes up all the nutrients.
And can I stick my hand in the water?
Oh, absolutely.
And so the water's kind of a brownish color.
Mm-hmm. This is a taro that I'm telling you was this big when we started, and this is about
can we look at what it looks like underneath?
Yeah, sure, certainly.
Oh, the view you never get.
Maybe like that for a root ball.
Wow.
It's happy. And see those white roots show that they're happy and they're aerated. They're getting everything they want.
And what would they look like if they were unhappy?
They're brown. Yeah. Yeah, that's when they're not happy. So some of them aren't as happy. This isn't as happy. And you can see the color difference. And then we put these in here, and this actually picks up, it's a matrix for some of the bacteria. Yeah, so I mean, this is what you can do in a 20 by 20.
20 by 20.
20 by 20.
Wow, it's very inspiring.
I wish we had more strawberries, but my kids come out here every day and they pick them. So we don't have any left. They've been picked over.
So the fish are feeding in the water, and that water is directly pumping up to the strawberries. The
Yes.
strawberries filter it the first time,
into here, yes.
and then it goes through these series of tables.
Yeah, these tables all fill up randomly, and they discharge randomly. Yeah, and so you can see these tomatoes here. This is about a month of growth here. We grew these from seed, and they're just now starting to flower. And later on, I'll show you my wind turbines, which I've designed, and they're going to be incorporated in this system. Right now, I have a 1/3 horsepower pump running this whole thing, and I'm going to replace that with the wind turbines.
Wow, so
you can see it'll be completely off the grid. The only thing that I don't do now is I am feeding the fish with a commercial grade feed, and we're going to eventually grow our own feed for them, duckweed. So we're hoping that works out.
How do you know that your system's functioning properly?
We initial testing, I was testing every day initially to get the water right. The ammonia level on, I think all these systems spike because the fish do it. And it's almost like the ballpark, if you build it, they will come. Well, if you have the ammonia, then you'll get the bacteria in these biofilters that will then convert the ammonia into nitrites, and then from nitrites, another bacteria into nitrates. So it's once you get all that, then you get plants that are happy.
And so can you tell just by walking out here that everything's functioning properly?
I can just look at the plants. Yeah, if there's too much flow, these will overflow. There's water up inside here. These, if there's not enough flow, these won't cycle, so they won't go up and down. So yeah, it's pretty easy. I spend about 5 minutes a day out here, and that's enough to take care of all the maintenance. I have some sediment filters here. When this filter gets full, unlike changing a filter on the car, I reverse these valves and I backflush. I take the energy that's going up to here and I backflush this into these filters. And how these filters work is the dirty water comes in here and slowly fills up the barrel. The cleanest water is at the top, the heavies fall, and the cleanest water goes to there, the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. By the time you get to the fourth barrel, the water is relatively clean. Then you turn the valves off, the water cycles back into the tank, and that's how you clean it. What you're left with is a kind of a goo here that is a fish emulsion that is really good for growing in dirt. So my neighbor grows in dirt, so nothing goes to waste.
Nothing goes to waste.
waste.
And about how much water do you have in circulation at any time in this system?
Right now we have 2,500 gallons.
And I know you harvest the plants, but do you also harvest your fish?
Well, you can. Unfortunately, we're starting to name them. And it's difficult to eat something you've named. So, but yes, you can. We have about 120 fish in there. And they range anywhere from that big to little guys.
What kind of fish do we have in
They're
here?
tilapia. There they go.
Tilapia is one of those species that, you know, it's introduced here in Hawaii,
Yes.
so people sometimes have a bad feeling about it. Can you tell us why tilapia is good in this application?
Well, tilapia are very hardy, and you're going to need that. Not so much for the temperature, because the temperature is fairly stable. It's about 74 degrees in the water. But the tilapia have a wide range of pH and ammonia tolerances that they can do it. In fact, they can actually live in brackish, semi-brackish water. So even if your pond isn't the cleanest and all that, you're not going to have a lot of fish die off. They also have a catfish, but they have their own issues, and barramundi, which I'm going to look into.
Oh.
So barramundi is the next thing we're going to look into and see
From
if they can go.
Australia, right?
I would imagine yes. It sounds like they're from Australia. I personally don't know for a fact, but we're going to try to introduce them and see if we can get them to coexist. We've been real happy. We haven't lost one fish, not one casualty out of all the fish. You know, it's a funny thing. We actually spend much less time watching television, and we sit out here as a family with a little flame, and we listen to the water and the whole bit, and it's really nice. It's better for our family. So it's a positive in that way too.
Do you mind if I ask the cost of setting up a system like this?
Well, I built everything myself and designed it all myself, so the labor's not in there. But Something like this, we had an initial budget of $2,000 and we exceeded it by a little bit, as you can see. But I would say we're probably somewhere in the $3,500 range.
Wow.
Yeah.
But what you have here is not only practical, it's a really beautiful setup, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of it was kind of, you know, pretty stuff too, yeah. You know, that's set up over there where we sit, you know, on the rock and everything. If you wanted to do it bare bones, yeah, you could do it a lot cheaper. I run a single 1/3 horsepower pump.
A 1/3 horsepower
It costs
pump.
me about $1 a day.
Wow.
Okay, now I hope to get rid of that $1 a day with my wind turbines, which I'd like to show you.
The University of Hawaii's Sea Grant College program, focused on Hawaii's coasts and its communities through sustainable development, safe seafood supply, sustainable coastal tourism, hazard resilience, and healthy coastal ecosystems. Hawaii's Sea Grant.
I became interested in building vertical axis wind turbines, okay? And so I did a little bit of research and I thought that a lot of the systems they had were flawed. And so I decided to make my own. And what I was using initially for blades, which we'll see later, are PVC pipe, which I would cut into 1/3 pieces.
Way.
That's PVC, that's a pipe cut into 1/3. And what I decided to go with after that is high density polyethylene.
And this is, it's heavy.
Well, yeah, now pick the two up at the same time, and you'll notice this is quite a bit lighter. Now pick that one up, yeah, so you feel it. So what I decided was, instead of using the PVC pipe, which has issues with UV, they degrade in UV, I built this tool to make my own blades, and what this does is you heat the plastic up, and you put it in flat, and it's like a waffle maker. And then you make your waffles. All right, and so that's how you do it. And then these are water cooled, so they keep the same temperature, and you're able to make these.
Oh. And so how did you build this metal piece?
I did a CAD design, and I took it over to Precision Water Cutting in Lahaina, and they cut the pieces and welded it together.
This mechanism is going to cool and help you to shape the polyethylene into the blade, but
Correct.
How do you heat it up?
That's a good question. It wouldn't fit in the oven, so I had to make my own oven.
Oh my
what I
gosh.
did was I took an old refrigerator and I repurposed it, and this is, as far as I know, Maui's largest convection oven. So what happens is I have a heating element in here, and I have a blower here, which blows hot air throughout here. I get the polyethylene up around 240 degrees. It gets pliable enough to then go into the mold. It'll hold 50 blanks at a time, and then they go in hot. You wear gloves, because it is, and you shove them in, and then you do the process where you do it. Now see, this one right now is it's cold, so it won't take the mold. And then there's a water tank in here that keeps the temperature constant.
Did you experiment around with the blade shape before you
Well,
made
I did
this
these, and I knew
model?
approximately what I wanted. And then I'll show you the results outside.
Wind turbines.
Wind turbines. I built these to harness the wind here, and we have plenty of it. And I found that solar here is difficult because the salt corrodes them. And so they have difficulty lasting the 10 years that they're warranted. But these here I've been running for 4 years, and we haven't had any problems with them. Right now, these are not connected to the grid. These are just test turbines. But you can see we have wind of about, I'd say it's about 8 miles an hour right now.
So that device up there, it's
Yeah, it's linked to a computer and then tells me what it is. These have been spinning for about 4 years. Now, I have the record for Maui because no vertical axis wind turbine has lasted more than a year in Maui.
Well, that was actually going to be my first question, because mostly here we see the pinwheel style wind turbines.
Right, the propeller kind, the bird choppers, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
They have a couple inherent problems. Number one, they're more efficient, so I'm going to give them their due up front. But number two, they have to be facing the wind at all times. So if you're the wind, they always have to come back to you. The problem with that is the wind, as you can feel here, is gusty. It comes from different directions. And in the time it takes for it to orient itself, they get vibration on the tip of the blades, and that's where the cavitation and the vibration comes from. So they're loud. Anytime you have something like that, you're constantly working the material, and eventually some of them fail. These right here are in harmony with nature. They don't seem to have that problem. These are called drag units, and not because they're a drag, but because it's like a swimmer. And they cup the air and they move it. Unlike an airplane wing, which is the type that Maui Electric has, which is called a lift unit, and it has an airplane wing and it actually can go faster than the speed of the wind. This, if it can get to a 1-to-1 with the wind, you're doing great. So these have been great.
Turn your love of the ocean into a lifelong career. Join NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, as we unlock the secrets in the deep oceans, track rapidly moving storms, model climate trends, protect and preserve our marine resources, and so much more. It's all in a day's work at NOAA. Find a career that makes a world of difference, enriching life through science, service, and stewardship. NOAA.
You're watching Voice of the Sea.
Pound for pound, or
Yeah,
I guess
dollar for dollar.
wind speed per wind speed, these are going to generate less electricity.
Only because, yeah, if you have a circle and you have the wind blowing in a single direction, only 1/3 of the blades are in power. As opposed to if you have a propeller, all of the propellers are in power at once. So they have less surface area into the wind at any one time. The trade-offs, absolutely dead quiet. There's no noise. There's no vibration from these. That's the trade-off. So would you rather have something that made a lot of noise and you only had one, or you had three and they made no noise and you don't even know they're up there? So a rack like this, these are different ones. I don't have them all operating right now, but a rack like this would be enough power to power my home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that the one that's spinning is the same setup
It's the same.
as
Yeah,
and
this is a 3-blade.
Okay.
And these are 5-blade.
Why is there this piece in the center? Why
Okay.
is it in two parts?
Okay, that's a perfect question. Perfect question. Okay, initially the first generation, this is second generation. First generation the blades went from the top all the way to the bottom. As they spun, centrifugal force pulled the blade out, and they would actually come out about that far. They'd actually, fatten up an inch or so, and that was a real issue. So I realized that the materials I was using couldn't sustain that much length, 60 inches. So I chopped it in half, and then I splayed it where this is 60 degrees off of this. So the top cage and the bottom cage are out of sync with each other. And what that does is it gives you a smoother, instead of the wind pushing and then the next one comes in, think of a Harley Davidson at a stoplight, boom, 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 and think of a Honda, right? Because there's more cylinders. This would basically be more cylinders by splitting it and splaying it.
And because it's offset like that.
Yes.
Is what you're
Now
saying.
these here, I'll stop one of these. These are actually 2 cages in one. So you have a top cage and a bottom cage, and you can adjust them any way you want. And this design is better for a module type build, because you can take this and you can go 4 high, you can go 1 high or 3 high. So this is actually the design that we're going with.
And I noticed you just stopped that with your bare hands.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. You can't hurt yourself with these. My kids used to ride their bikes around these when they were down on the ground. And so unlike a propeller, which will hurt you, these are very, very safe.
Wow.
Now I wouldn't necessarily want to get in between the two of them, but shy of that, not so bad.
And so I hear you talking about a lot of different designs that you've tried.
Yeah,
and
this is second generation. I'm up to the 5th generation.
And how did you go about that experimentation process?
I built a wind turbine. I built a wind tunnel, 1/12 scale model, which I now hope to build at the college next summer, a full scale size, and I can show you that later. But that I would build little miniatures and then test them out in miniature. Then I would build them 1/4 scale, 1/2 scale, and then finally full scale.
And did you talk to people along the way or
No.
read about?
No, this is all my own designs. Yeah, I don't want to be polluted by somebody else's failure. Because if somebody had a really good one, we'd all be buying them right now. So no, I pretty much I go on my own designs.
And what about the conversion to power? So you have these things spinning around.
These are easy. I have a gearbox that I'm currently formulating or putting together right now that puts 3 of these 3 cells. The base of it goes into a gearbox, and all the energy from the 3 wind turbines goes into a single turbine gearbox, and then a single generator is then attached to it. And that can be placed very easily. These pop out in 5 minutes, so you could put a cage down on somebody's roof or their trellis like this. You can pop in the different components and hook it up, and literally in a half an afternoon or so, you could have it up and running.
So what would you tell somebody like me who's maybe not as mechanically inclined? Like, where would I start?
Average homeowner to build, unlike the aquaponics, I think they could do that a little easier. These are more difficult because the angle of attack and everything like that is really, these have been pretty fine-tuned at this point. Again, it's been 4 years. So, but I have put a program out to Molokai that I would be willing to cut the patterns and the blades and send them over there, and they could assemble and install as a program to kind of get some jobs over there and such. So we're working on a lot of different things.
So this knowledge is moving out.
Oh yeah, I'm going to allow a lot of this knowledge here, because this right here, these are fairly efficient. The final ones I'm going to do, I'll probably end up marketing it at one point.
Your whole house it's a giant science experiment.
It's a giant science experiment, you know, burn ratios and things like that down below. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here.
I'm very impressed. I think aesthetically, the things that you're showing they're just beautiful.
Yeah, they're kind of fun. Those are actually more graceful, but they're less powerful. So we're going to have to, find a happy medium, like with the fish and the plants, and that's what these are. These will end up. These are 110 pounds each. They will end up made out of all polyethylene. They're only 70 pounds. These over here, oh, forgot this. These over here, if you can get a low shot down there, a really low shot with the sun at your back, those are magnetic levitated bearings. So these are floating on a magnetic cushion. You'll just notice that there's a little tiny gap in between the round plastic and the square plastic.
Wow.
Kind of cool, huh? So I'm playing around with both mechanical bearings and magnetic levitation bearings. And they're very, very powerful, very powerful. The magnets just in there will pick up 500 pounds. So they're scary strong. And they'll repulse 80 pounds. So,
wow.
So those are kind of cool. The problem is they're very susceptible to corrosion, and there's a lot of corrosion.
So that's the thing about the wind powers, there's always a moving element to it, so something that could wear down.
Well, that could wear out. These are on bearings that I've been playing around with the different bearings, and the bearings are lasting, even these bearings here, which are fairly inexpensive ones, they're lasting a year and a half. So that wouldn't be the end of the world. You'd have to replace a set of bearings at maybe $20 a set. So it's not that cost prohibitive.
Where are we going from here?
Well, initially this was for powering this house. It's gone beyond this now. I've had so much interest in these that I now teach classes at the college, VITEC, when they'll have me. And I've actually taught a class, a day class, and I've been honored to be able to do that. And the kids are excited. They come and they look at this, and I show them the video, and they're so excited about all this. And that's the key, is to get them excited and stop thinking that electricity comes from a wall plug, right? You know, and we don't know where that, the coal fire or the oil fire like that. This is free. This is what's given to us, and so let's use it. So some people say it's too windy where you live. That's the lemons, and this is the lemonade. So I think that this is really how we all should do. And I don't think that this is so out there that everybody couldn't have it, especially in this just makes sense. Every one of these houses could have this. So this is where I want to take it, and where hopefully we can put them out there, and they're going to be very, very inexpensive compared to solar. So if you have wind, this is the way to go.
The Curriculum Research and Development Group in the College of Education at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. CRDG has been providing quality educational programs and services for over 40 years, serving students, teachers, parents, educators, and experts around the world and here in Hawaii. The Curriculum Research and Development Group, Improving Schools, Improving Education. CRDG.
Exploring Our Fluid Earth is a dynamic curriculum developed by the University of Hawaii's Curriculum Research and Development Group, teaching ocean science concepts through the disciplines of physics, chemistry, biology, and ecology. Exploring Our Fluid Earth is now available freely online. Find out more at exploringourfluidearth.org.
Talofa, olo e mai mo mai le tautua le ala talua le KVZKTV, Pango America Samoa. You are watching KVZKTV Channel 2, Pango American Samoa.
La ulupe ualele, lele vau maoa, italo foi la upele, ola upele ualeiloa. La ulupe ualele, lele vau maoa, talo foi la upele, ola upele ualeiloa. Sei o muai whanga le kukui. Ma o rua i kaia le se unga mua le kungo. Pe mai kala. O le se unga le koa ku mga vao ngai le aku whaalava. Nga ka whea ai le lauri a mangu le po. Ai whaai wha. E le o skaiao malolo. Au le kaiao o ngu malo. O le se unga le polo whasoa. Ngai le wailoloa ma le aku whaka. Whai mai ngā i kia i puala lau a leo puala uloa. Ma whare sa wai maunga wea. Ka whare lau mea. Ngā i kia sa moa koa. Whai wha ka mangu ma le sili. Sorry. Wai lea sori au kuku. Al se unga pili le kusiri. Whai mai ngā kuri makanga wai le ka yufi al ka mai kai. O singa. Whai mai ngā kua malia. Ua malie. Ua malie koe whiki malonga inga. Al se unga al kai au. Le whai mai lau whai ngā luenga. Se iafe mai a se i maka maka. Al ral sa whai salamo. Lali ie. O ke pese hai loa loko ma lo whamaongi. Ai whakua kua i lawa whio. O ngu uma. O e loa lo suafa. E o alwhai ngā mā loa kuil mangua. Wa kumu lau whakua kua. Vi ia le kua ni ngai kai au. Ulou. Kulou ngalau. Pai aka wea ni upelele. A whai o kalangoa al whai ngā maro kuil mangua. A whio mai lo whionga al kovang sili. Mali masio. Tuso mai lo ke ang kovanga mal whai kua. Ma malu na ngā. Vaenga ka mal skula thong. E whio fo iai pina skenge. Lau ko whar ko lolo. Mal whanga whakalai lau ko whar ko ko. Sa vali ale. Al mamalu ngā i o mahoka e lua. E al kai eita po inga le whio whamsing sili. Male vaenga whamsingonga. Kulaunga la ia. Ka whakolu maoki o lau whai ngā marau. Ai whai mai. E ka po iai. Longa maa lofa loko i whale. A whio mai alo whionga. Le mau pukes. Kai ma whasau saua sua mo le vai whangua. O le whaila kusiam kau Samoa. E ko ai ka po inga, lau ko whawhano mā vaenga. Anga su iau au, a kuila mamangua, yang upu whai. A whai o kaukara, lupe lele o lea ngu. Anga whai ka po inga al whai sikuru. Anga i whonguan malai ngai, Le fio le pungafu malunga fa sao. Mai kai makali kwa lauka. Pui la elfu kainga ngo fa pule. Ai fa ka po inga fa sfulu. Yo fa swanga. Yo ka pau. Pui la elfu kainga kambakua mo ponga o. Kulau. Ai kau mau le o ponga. Fa kui mo koko. Ai sia. O malau lu pelele o le malanga kofi mai le akusa. A fai le kongu lau ka ofi. Fa pea. Fa mai ko mangua. La ulupe lele. A fai keifo. E ko ai nga. Le wanganga koko. Ele ko fo yak. Fa pelele ko mangua. Ilonga li fa kui. Sole. A kapa sa uava. Kapa la wipu. Kawange. Lupe lele fo mai. Mafu anga ngai keu mau fako. Ole kumalo. Mamalo la wala ulia. Fan kau songa. Le fio mai, le fionga sofa pico. Le fionga ya fio me. Ole ainga salvalas. Al kapainga mau ngai la fio le ale malo. Fonga sui kofia. Pale mia mal pale menge. Pui klinga ya ke lua kumbuan pule kulau. Al ngai kai au, mamalo la wala ulia. Fakasi maleao le malo. La fionga ya kuikonga. Paule lima. Takalof. Ulu toke lau. Mama lofa lolongia mai fafo. Takalofaku le onga maulunga al mungkele. Papea le o fainga luenga kofi le kua mala wala ulia. Ia kalofa lau. Ele ko o se kama kalanga. Ale kuma lo malanga onga. Ile aso malung fa moi. Ai paua o lea. Kako si fa kai le kua mo se lau mal fiku kau sanga. O angia ngia fu o sal konga mal file mu. E u yang ka koko le kau kua. O alu fa ngau. Au sa inga mungulia ngal ka fa inga malo. Ia. Lo fionga ko bang. Masalo o lo kau fasili i mamalu le aku. Ai se au ku koko ai. Le vanganga koko mafakui il ngai kai au onga o alung fanga. Mai yang fa vai ngai onga se yo mai ngai kai au. Ele ku la fo le fakui mo koko o ngalo ia. A folau e kau muli fikale ngai koko. Ai le kau fa kau vainga ele a fia le ku malo finga ngalo. Ala wa fionga fa kong sile aonga. Balwa alo fa ngau le ku malo me umba. Al kala kumua le aso. Balanga sa ngumua. Le ai fa pele a fa kui mo koko yo ngalo. Inga ngai sasi le kaiao. Onga kasi le long. Ma fa anga ngau ku ko ela le mo fem suyo le ku malo. Au le aso mo fa mo ko nyola le ko sumai alon fa ngau mo kele ka wa ku ngimea o fa le kongu malo po angi me le. Le ua ngo fo ilo i finga ngalo le ku malo mo le aonga. Kele yo la fa so le le ka fo. Pe akala pe ngai mal finga ngalo le kua. Ai ngau ngai. O ki kausa ngaku mo le ava ka wai. Anga ki sila fio fo ilo fio ngoko nyol. O ku pulanga mo kele. O le ko ku pulanga o va yasu ngai. O ku pulanga o va lele. Ngamalanga mai alo fa kui mo ko i va lele. Ai mo fa kalanga sia so nga. O sa unge paki le MBC le fo la wai. O le al kalsanga male ava. O fe ia lo pingalo. Se fa con wa paki le ku fa con ngalo fio ngal ko wang. Mbalo ofiso wa onga. E ko e fio fo ia lo fa ngawa le ku malo. I va lele ngo fo i mai. O me lea male ava. Mal ko manga o ai kasion ngai taong. Le akul va lele fiki uka ngo umole fa. Kiki lokko mai fiki uka. Ku i fo al va lele la. O fe e lo ka mai ki fa pe se va al ngai a fa lo. Ai ko ai ngo wa ka o ko lo sa ngwanga il fa le mai o ko u. O akul va nga lea o ku nga o apa se ku lo fa fo nga la ku. O nga pisa lo ka mai ko u fa mai o fa le ku. E o mai ngai ai le se me o fa ia lo fio ngal ko wanga ka wanga la fo. O le ku malo. Le ua malie i lo fa soa. Kaya o lan ngai. A whai o whafunga mai lo o pionga ku vai langi tak te kelea po mele. La ia le whakauanga vale le sunga le pule aonga. Le wa fio mai le pule aonga le alo whakuin koko o te yana mperosa ma le aigo whai aonga. Ka whai alo fingalo. A heo ko ai fingalo whakuin koko ka po ai la ia le launga whangau. E mai mamalu. E le al kai o whakuin koko. Sa hinga la le kam whai aka. La alo le pa ia mamalu o le mai kai pule mo whai aonga. Susual ples kenge o PTA ko whai a ale ma le vaenga o PTA e mua. Se whai a song sao. Se whai song sao. A yes wale kongu. Ia lafo ia lolo. Lafo ia lolo wale kongu pese ma siva al whaka ugei. O wa o lolo. O lolo wai wha unga ngā al mungu. Yo me ngā o pese ma siva ngā alo elko le spionga le ples kenge ia lolo. Ia se kaula. Sa unge wha fia le mamani. A le lei ka kau whawhia whianga, wa i o mai kong i ola ka ki o le whalele. Ai a whale kongu, sa ungi ka kou mo le avisili ngā ngeit. Mangui a whasau saunga, ia, mangui a whoi wha mo koe ngai aso, so kua.
Wal mamalu wal whainga malo. Leo le a pesel senga ula ilo na vi. Ai wala watu mal wha alo alo. Tama whana uman manu o tele sa wha wino mai le aongai manua. Tu lai mai e wha ali lo loto wha senga ula. A o pese ina lo vi e whanau ia. Amuk Samoa. Un mako pese man mako sivu. A o lava e ka meke o seng ula. Ele o mako pese. Mua muanga fia lakus mako me whakawhiki rea. Naf! Hei! Hei! Pacha! Pacha! Lua mai! Hei! Pei sao ngai ula. Tula im sao iluma. Se yo tango e lau le unga. Bela foi tai pe kongi uta. Pei sao ngai ula. Tula im sao iluma. Se yo tango e lau le unga. Bela foi tai pe ta uta. Hey! Hey! Mo lavan matofia si ni ingan ma faftai le tu. Ono lo na lufa sa cho dia mai ele ni yasu fio tu bila mu. Na!
Fuanga tanu
Samoa. Kwa hiyo let's no. Rông lên mà lộ. Rông lên con. Beautiful to see. Mà lúc vào thủy mất.
Bye bye, sui
Amu Samoa. Ula mato pese lau tu les. Melania, mato te fia fata lofa tuai ya onga maulunga nei Luisa Mo. Moli atu taftai fatum sit. Ona o pawalos tau sanga o mai manu os valet. Ale matu tar sanga. Toi matu te fio fo valet. Paf. Oni fautuanga mol malo paong.
Pandono telelo mapau salalen si pepa pasalanau. Mai mai o mai tutuila, kusuta mai tipaya o ma. Elo tonu ko aya o ma, mai le malama tapuna. Sa ofa peo le liona, ai muli ane o toko samoana. Ha ha ha. Hey hey oh. Mua o ale malo. Alo pani o tongi faya o ma. Sili to tongi o fale ia. E mama mai o si o noto. E malo lo ile au male po. Apa si faya se tamai titi. Uaka leo pe ame santa puna o e tano pa. Hey hey. Oh. Vale o si o loto, me o tutupulo tamano. Te sa o si tula pono e se pulu, ya o ina muli ale atunubu. Ele vale no pale o tua, ai tele ne se pe a dona tosa. Ai ta wa pe o te amata, sai sala moi ko tu ai uale alma se malapanga. Hey hey oh hey oh. Ola toi fo isi ngula no tet. Stop.
Ai la alo ko lunga le aonga le mukele. O le fingalo e mai kai o Tayana Amberosa o le pule aonga le mukele fa pea mai kai mali fa yaonga. Le pleskengo le PTA male vaenga o le foi kulanga o lo kampaiai. O lo fa kaua ku kulanga. O le melea. O le alo ko lunga le mukele. O langa la le lei o le mis senga ula. Ia malanga mangaia o le mister senga ula. O le kamai kai o thanu. O ia lea o le mis senga ula. O le kumalo. Ai lawan kamai kala le lei. E o mai ali ngu leo ka u, ngu leo le ma. A o mangaia. E o mai ngu leo si ufanga. Ai malolo ali kumalo e len kamai kai la le lei o le kako kumalo. Leo le alo iai le kaualu. Ai kal sangaku. O le falkua lo kenga ko vanga mal falkua lu kenga ko vanga yes kal kungu ia e silinga lu mai mo maka maka e sau nganga ia ile va o lo lu kia sa o le poleng ia o facing le volas ia al vanga le ia ko ile malu lo ko fa ko lolo anga ia ka o ko al kalo singa ula so fa peu so ko pese lu e ku mai lunga ai ia fainga o ia lu luai le luai fa ungal mo kele le ngong ya sumai sa mo la o fai pula mo o fe ku ma pu o pea o singang fa mai la ungal ngei mo ye luo mai wa le ko malu afe malval kele o palo kale i ale luo mai ya le makalu suafa pe le luo sa ale si wa le fa mai ngai pe sa lo fa kuanga ngai ni si wa nga mo ale ngo mai ngai o le upu e fa ngai ngo le we ia a yese mo ale so pik o ka ko a ka volunga le fa ye mo kele ai ngai mal fa nga malo a fa ye we singa nga o sala o se pese fo o le longo malie lo fionga ko vanga mal fa nga malo o upu ale ku le wa le kai fa pe po kwai mangu ia awal fa mo mo kuil mo se gaula ka ko lu Vamos, va con Chilo ahora. Vamos, lua koko.
Kau ke mua ngā mori le whafkai. Le ngai kulawa maua se awangoa o toke lau. Iau pa ia o Samoa la ure toe o iai. Pe o te o fo iai. O pa ia mai le vavau se iau e le wha vavau. Nunu atu la ia i whale uporu o tau whinga. Le mata whai ioi lea whale uporu. A o le neitu la. Ia o le valaulia nei ala fionga i kovana. Mai toke lau. Waptai foi wa matou wawaiatu le ulo toke lau. Ia nau whaapio mai. Sau se teimi o na tantano atu la ea. E tu sai male valaulia o toke lau neitu la. Ai alo maia. Lau a fionga a fuola o ta pala usuafa. O te whamaria atu i la onga ne la so mai. A ape a se tu ia tai au. La ngai luat fulfai tu la ia no mai eito ke lau mai. Fai si mabau tele. Ai o whela man meo ielo fitngalo. Ia la le whaia se fitngalo nei tu o le bot. Tai!
Alua oe. Po le luas fulfai ku la kaka. Memoia i gei.
Ia le pai ae ma le malu a fia. E wha malulu at, ona le au wha ina le wha tuke lau, ina nei sala se leo. Tulou! Tulou! Tulou tau ahionga, tongi ola tula hono. Te kovana hili, o te māloa Amerika hea mo. Tulou nā sui tō fia o te whono mamaru. Tulou te kau whai ngā luanga pa ia te tua. Kai a te mamalu o te kau wala kaulia. Ma te mamalu kua huia poto i tātou aha tēnei. Takotoko o tapu ma o pa ia hakatanga nuku. A wako he moana he tai tai ke oko tia. Kai ke malama iama, ke malama i katea te tātou tai au. I te aloha tū noa o te tātou tamana i te langa. Ate, ua ngali ai te tātou malae tēnei. O te meia tau hionga. O toke lau kua hawali wali mai. Venama te ulu o te malo toke lau. Ke hoka ngali toa. Haka toka mai te noho. Teu te kila. Ka teu atu koe. Pai mai le upu o koe inga koe lau. Ele umingi mea koe inga koe lau. Pā uma. Vavea. Awa fionga le kovana. Ia la avela manua le vale le fa fea mako. Manuia tātou aha.
Wakatopi te kupema, wakatopi te kupema, wakaomai mulibaka, hauwaila matue, wakaimo, e wakaheta, auwe, moana oika, moana yake, watapone,
Yeah.
Bela mana leto hitai mi ko fana. Tuku mai lava ta vano kia matou. Awai haka umatu e matou te aso tenei. Te aso ataiao, te aso te aonga. Te nao ke ki latu ko te kaamata tau siwa mai te kouwana. Ai maisao ki te awhionga, te au ki te ulu o toke lau. Te ata mumua te nei ku kawatu. Au te ata lo nulua, te ka saune tuai. Tai. Away!
ia mai le malo ke lau, na lo ta me fia ba ta ka pena.
Ya, malola vale, ong sai.
ia lau fionga le kovana. Ina ua e malanga atu I toe lau. Ai malanga atu malau ofe. Malau wha matalanga ia au ia taf toke lau. O oe o le tautai nei I tutuila, mamanua, malohenga. Ia ai peitai. E lei maua sei ai toe lau. O le mafuanga, e te lei whaalongo mai a te au. I le whainga o le whaiwai toke lau. O le sivala le alua. E te toe malanga atu le toe lau. Ia, ua mautinoa, ua maua leia. Ia, le aluat.
Totunga pito morito lama. Si. 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 Totunga pito morito lama. Si. 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 Hotu. Hotu lua, hotu tolu, hotu wa. Hey. 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 Hotu. Hotu lua, hotu tolu, hotu wa. Hey. 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 Tau tau. Tau tau. Go! Go! Choo! See! 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 Tatuma kito molito lama. See! See! Sí. Tatuma kito molito lama. Sí. 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 Hatu. Otu lua, otu tolu, otu wa. Hey. 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 Hatu. Otu lua, otu tolu, otu wa. Hey. Hey.
fia o ta penanga o nei aso. Ia o la se mea penanga ia i whailaua.
Whailaua ola mo la manoa. E toa lua tangata nei no iloina ele i maua seia. Na ole a fionga te ia rei lua. Ia e meise ia. To whatoto ia papatai. Paua i o tangata. O te tari tonu na o eni fo i leisi tangata na mauala neia. Ia o nei tula. O la alo atu to ke lau mo lana tawalunga. O te whamalulu atu fo i la fo i se tamu whainga to ke lau. Me wo i aini malos. Ia o te whamalulu atu. Ta tonu a vela fo i whala. Ia o le a tala tawalunga to ke lau. La fionga i le whai pule. Pa tangata to e lau lo i aina nei. I le afe ta la.
Alo, ia whakanore ka kumoia iai le kasi o vai luas fufa o lo koko koe lau ia ka kousiva lea. Aua i ora tātou moku e kere i siva.
Alo. I lau a fionga al kovansili. Pai ngā māloa tuila mamnua. Ta tonu le oio se manua o se tutuila ko se manua foi. O lau a fionga o to e lau mao i lava.
Yes.
Ia ele gata moine. Ia la fionga le lutena kovana. O le utule to e toke lau foi. Lona faltua. Ia vala awat foi le ulu toke lau. Ia tatou tawalunga nei. O leo te mawai at foi o lo ala mai la fionga ele. Ia eni o fale mawega. Langa o kamanga po ulonga puke se kuloi i o sega. Ia o kako kawalunga le la kako alo kiai. Tai!
Le masulu persegar koko e lau le fionga le ni fepule ma wasupone.
Go!
Io. Allora, ako malfalo alo. Kasi nga preskege. May siya suya senate ya male. Kasi nga speaker kong pekolay. Yeah, and my colleagues in the fono. Yeah, kaya phone ngay mo kako. Mo kako sa mga katahiyay mo kaong tukalaw. Ya, matkain ka tukalaw mo lang dek. Sawi. Kumay tato, hay tato tao lungat ka mo teka to yo. Akamanay tato hawak dai lahi lele. So ban sili mo ta no ko kamay tukalaw. Ay lava. Kay dia lova, pap kay ngopo-ngopo. Ale ai sa ocupe la poa e que lo coleanga. Io.
Yeah.
Tulay talale wa pa umay le piong ale li fai pule. Yo nga ya tali mai ya fai malo fai le usi vale mai to ke lau. Ay ka ko la kelen fa umu. Sai le lopo ilunga.
Talofa, olo e mai mo mai le tautua le ala talua le KVZKTV, Pango America Samoa. You are watching KVZKTV Channel 2, Pango American Samoa.
Laulu pe ualele, lele le vau maoa, italo foi lau pele, o lau pele uale iloa. Laulu pe ualele, lele le vau maoa, talo foi lau pele, o lau pele uale iloa.
Blunt's Point was actually an interesting historical site that my son and his close friends introduced me to. One day they had learnt about Blunt's Point at school and wanted to go for a hike up the hill to Blunt's Point. So one afternoon in the weekend we actually went for a hike up and checked out the guns up there. Quite an amazing sight. These things are huge.
It's actually Matautu Ridge. I think the Palangis call it Blunt's Point because it's kind of blunted on top. But the Samoan name for the place is Matautu Ridge.
Okay, we're at the Blunt's Point Naval Guns. It's a World War II site. It's on Matautu Ridge, and the Samoan name of the point is Tulu Tulu Point, and it's in American Samoa. It's just above the Pongo Pongo Harbor. The guns were placed here in order to protect Pongo Harbor from invasion during World War II.
At that time, Pongo Harbor was quite a strategic point, a point of refueling and stores for the soldiers that were in the area, protecting the Pacific Islands from the Japanese.
American Samoa was the biggest storage depot. This is why this harbor was so valuable, because it was from here that they moved everything out to the rest of the Pacific, you know?
What we learned was that the guns were originally from World War I, where they were on battleships.
And they were brought to American Samoa just before Pearl Harbor, and they were installed here. These guns are unique in the sense that they were two of four sets of guns in American Samoa during World War II. They were the largest defensive guns on the island.
I mean, at that point, we found out that they had these massive 6-inch shells that they would fire out of them out to sea at any potential threats from the Japanese Navy.
They could project shells that were approximately 6 inches in diameter with a range of just over 9 miles. The guns were brought here by the Marines, and they were installed by the Marines and contractors as well as Samoans.
They put them on this sled type thing, like a cable car on a sled, and pulled them up the mountain.
The way they were brought up was on a skidway, because there was no road up here at the time. And so there was a skidway that was actually, they didn't have steel rails at the time, so they used a Samoan hardwood called ifilele.
It's quite impressive when you look back at actually how they did it, a combination of American military and Samoan brute force got those things up the hill and got them positioned and got them in place to protect Pago Pago Harbor.
With a diesel engine that pulled them up using cable. And one of the interesting things is recently the American Samoa Historic Preservation Office has had a survey done, and we've located the approximate location of where that skidway was. We found the concrete anchors that held the steel cables, and we've even found one of the round pulleys that was left behind after the war. The guns were never used in anger. There was only one attack on American Samoa, and it was a submarine that surfaced on the other side of the island and shot shells over the island into Pongo Harbor.
And when the Americans conquered the Japanese, they found all the papers, and what they found out that was after Guadalcanal to Solomon Islands, they were coming to Samoa next.
And the Japanese commander must have known either that the guns were here or it was likely that there were large guns defending the harbor, and so he attacked from the other side of the island.
There was some potential threats in the area from the Japanese, and the Japanese did fire upon Pago Pago Harbor, but they seemed to, I don't know if it was instinct or some type of information or knowledge that they had received, that Pago Pago had two of these large weapons in place.
I don't recall too much, but I remember some of the important events. When we were bombed, we were shelled from this side, from over there. I said, I'm trying to think of the boat. I think it was a submarine, Japanese submarine. We got shelled, and most of the shells fell right in out there.
So the Japanese were lobbing shells from Whangasā into Whangatongo, and the only thing they hit was Shimasaki's store. The only Japanese living in American Samoa at the time, they hit Shimasaki's store.
One of our Samoan guys picked up a live shell that did not explode in there. He picked it up and carried it around. Yeah, everybody was running. Walking right there. It was fun. The guy didn't know it was very dangerous. I was carrying it about this long.
The only time the guns were fired was for practice. And I've talked to old Samoans who were alive at the time, and they told me that they were incredibly loud. Another thing that's interesting about this site is the American Samoa Historic Preservation Office recently conducted an archaeological survey mapping in all of the features, the guns, but also other features that were associated with the site. And what we found was that the people that were manning the guns, they lived up here. And so there's concrete steps that go up into the jungle on two separate ridges. So there's a ridge that's associated with the lower gun, and on that ridge there's concrete foundations that were the foundations for barracks and probably mess halls and offices. And then there's another set of similar structures on the upper ridge. So the upper gun, the men stayed up on the upper ridge in the buildings up there, and we've documented all of that. And then with the lower gun, the men stayed on the lower ridge. This hadn't been known before, and so we're going to be using that information to write a report and an article about it, so the public and history scholars have a better idea of how the guns were manned, and we're also going to send that information to the National Register of Historic Places and update the National Register nomination. The guns are currently being maintained by the National Park Service, so they have a crew that comes up here and cuts the grass and maintains the trail to the second gun. They're also help with vandalism issues. There is a small amount of vandalism going on. The upper gun got spray painted. The upper gun is also flooded, and I've been in contact with the National Park Superintendent, and they have some pumps, and there's plans in the works to pump out the lower gun and clean out the drains and see if that can be maintained.
In the year 2000, during the centennial for the territory, a Boy Scout did his Eagle Scout project, and he cleaned up the lower gun and cleaned out the gun emplacement and painted the gun. He also put up a monument to hold the plaque that indicates that Blunt's Point is a National Historic Landmark.
I was working for Governor Lutali when we went up there and it was filled with water and dead frogs, and so the Navy came down, Seabees, and they cleaned it out.
And during the centennial, the Navy sent a brigade of, I'm not sure if that's the right term, but he sent the Seabees, or a construction battalion, to do some volunteer work during the centennial, because American Samoa for 51 years was under naval administration control. The CB Construction Battalion put in access steps to the guns to make it easier for tourists and local visitors to get to the site.
Blunt's Point is a fantastic historical site that should be visited by a lot more people than I believe visit it on an annual basis. You know,
the guns stand in testament to the legacy of the veterans, both Samoan and from the United States, who helped defend these islands.
And sort of almost feeling that aura around the guns that existed back in World War II, and just imagining how, you know, soldiers would have been stationed there and looking out the harbour mouth, and just waiting for any potential threat that could come along.
So what the people that manned this gun faced were guns that could shoot shells that were 18 inches in diameter, and their range was about 25 miles.
The gunners here couldn't respond because their range was only 9 miles.
So they would have to wait out that shelling. Once those invasion forces got in range, then these guns could start firing. To man these guns took a tremendous amount of courage for those veterans.
The significance of a historical site like that is huge. You know, we have to preserve it in the sense that from generation to generation you must understand where the next generation came from for the existing generation to move forward and learn from other generations' mistakes potentially.
Well, you know, it's part of our history. It's part of our history.
I think a lot of our younger generation don't appreciate what has happened in the past. You know, things like a world war are quite inconceivable in today's society, where you have wars in different areas, but it's not the whole world at war.
And the guns, as you know, are listed in the U.S. National Register of Historic Places. It's protected.
The site is an incredibly important site for American Samoan history. We hope that people will visit the site and enjoy the site, contemplate the legacy and the history that American Samoa and the United States have had together, and help to protect and preserve the site for future generations.
Talofa, olo e mai mo mai le tautua le ala talua le KVZKTV, Pango America Samoa. You are watching KVZKTV Channel 2, Pango American Samoa.
Pull you over for your safety. And for the safety of our loved ones, click it or ticket.
A ticket for not wearing your safety belt, $120. A life, priceless. Click it or ticket.
On December 14, the stars will align over American Samoa for a historic musical event you won't want to miss. The Pacific Island Foundation presents Stars of the Pacific Opera Gala, showcasing some of the world's top opera singers. Featuring global sensation Bene Patti, winner of international awards including the recent Opus Classic. Also featuring multi-talented Moses Mekai, renowned for his smooth baritone voice and dashing looks. Together with Bene, they make up 2/3 of the multi-platinum selling trio Sole Mio. Accompanying them is sought-after composer and pianist Dr. Ludwig Treviranus. And introducing bass baritone Samson Setu. One night only. Book your tickets now. Call 252-5569 or 258-1950 or email info@pacificislandfoundation.org.
Whaalia le finangalo le presidente le mo te maulunga e tu sai o le unga le palota mo swing o le whaavai. Whaalawi lo le polo inga fou a le Kovana City. Ma ua sao ni nutanga luengos o pisnisi malamanuia le DOC mo nana wha moe moe i le masina nei. O te whaatalawhatu i se whaupoponga o tala mai lau KVZK. E mo mwatu o le sole na saunuai le a fionga le presidente le mo te maulunga i atua olo mana i a fruen e whaamalamalama le winga o lana tusi na tuinatu le komisina o whainga palota. E tu sai o le unga o le palota le atunu ua e mesi lawa swing o le whaavai e peo na sao fia uma i le pepa palota. The President of the Senate, Tuaolo Manaya Fruen, has explained the reason why he wrote to the Election Commissioner not to certify the result on Constitution revisions. Here is more.
O le whaiunga le palota o le whaavai o le mata upule na tusi ai le afionga le President o le mauta maurunga i a Tuaolo Manaya Fruen e le komisino whainga palota i sona finangalo i le leo na mawhaiona tau fia i le whaamaonia o le whaiunga le o le whaiunga le palota o le whaavai o le mata upule na tusi ai le afionga le President o le mauta maurunga i a Tuaolo Manaya Fruen e le komisino whainga palota i sona finangalo i le leo na mawhaiona tau fia i le whaamaonia o le whaiunga le swing o le whaavai le ana palota e le atunu u le vaiaso na te nei. O le asong funa te nei la sa su wha November na tuina atuai le tusi le nei a le President i a Tuaolo Manaya Fruen o le taitai fono fo i leo le fono le whaavai i le komisino whainga palota ya Dr. Uyanga Leile Lofi o lo au iri ai lo no fina ngalo e au na sira i ele ofiso whainga palota i lea mata upo i le sanuanga tua olo ilana tusi e na le fase 4% o le atunu una palota te ena i e swinga pe a fua le lola palota o se numera pa utele. O le isi vaenga na ta ua le tusi le Presidente o swinga nei sa fuafua iai e au ngā tele mole anga inu mole atunu o lona winga e tele atu lona ta ua nai lo se vaenga na o lato te ena i e swinga. O se vaenga o le tusi o lo ta ua e whaapea o lo ia te oe le malo se whaamaunia wha le tūla whonoai le whai unga le palota le atunu ai o le tarusanga i awane i whaamaunia whai unga le swinga o le whaavae o no le whai unga le palota o le whaavae wa na se vaenga o le atunu una palota te ena ai le o le atunu atoa. O le tarusanga le Presidente ia whaanga fua le mata upu ai toi tūra nei lava mata upu i whainga palota tele o le lua afe lua sifurufaa a leo la palota i le pēama le sifuru li mafe o tangata o le atunu. O le haswana na whire na tari ai le ofisa o whainga palota le atunu i le tusi le Presidente. The President of the Senate, Tuaolo Manaya Fruen, in a letter dated November 14th, asked the Chief Election Officer, Dr. Uyanga Leile Lofi, not to certify the election results on the Constitution revisions. Tuaolo's concern stems from the fact that less than 50% of the total electorate for the territory cast their votes and overwhelmingly voted no. Tuaolo says much effort and resources were expended by our territory in drafting of these revisions, holding Constitution Convention just to be voted down by only 40% of voters. He went on to say the importance of the proposed document to the advancement and improvement of American Samoa's political future far outweighs the will of the minority who voted it down. For these reasons, Tuaolo requested that the chief election officer not certify the results of the votes on the referendums. The last paragraph of the president's letter says you can declare the vote null and void because the votes fail to truly dictate the will of all our people, and refer this matter to be reintroduced in the 2024 general election when a majority of the roughly 15,000 registered voters decide on this very important matter. KVZK News understands President Tuaolo has already received a letter from the election commissioner in response to his letter not to certify the results of the referendum.
Ole sole na tu ina mai ai le polo inga fou mau whalawe te tupu whaafu sei le whionga le kovana sili ya le manu pale po isi ale ngā maunga. E mai o i o le leiai mo whalawe te tupu whaafu sei e me se le malanga mai Amerika Samoa e tu sai ma swinga e peo na sa funga ina e lana whionga ina i vai asu tuanai. I le polo inga pe na tuina mai o loo manino le ai le swinga wa ave se ai le talo for pass e ua whaongai na le ngoa o le health declaration e mawhai ai o na whaatumu le tangata malanga i lungo o penga te whailangi pe whaatumu foi pe a taunu mai le waalele ta funa. I le nei lama swinga o loo manino ai foi na fuatu i le aso nafi na le toe mo mia pe patui o le COVID mo le malanga mai pe toe whaatali foi se ia tuinatu le whaatananga e malanga mai ai Amerika Samoa po le pre-approval. E na o le valu fesili ala soi formaloloina e tali le tangata i lungo penga te whailangi e le ai e me whailava o na whaatumu pe a taunu mai ta funa. O tangata uma sa talusanga ma o talia i lungo le talo whapas mo malanga i le lupnai e le mo mia o na toi whaia seisi ngā yoinga o le olo o whautoina pe le atunu e malanga mai e whaungai no le tali whafonga pe a whai o a fia iaunga le COVID se fulmaleiva. O le polo inga le kovana sidi e whaatu a mai a i le asamuamu o te sema. The Honourable Governor Lemanu Palepoi Maunga has issued a new emergency declaration for the territory, removing several COVID-19 restrictions and superseding the declaration dated October 21st, 2022. According to a press statement from the Governor's office, the territory will begin to see several of the restrictions lifted as American Samoa shift toward a long-term recovery, as mentioned by the Honourable Governor Lemanu Palepoi Maunga a few weeks ago. This decision comes as the result of recommendations from the COVID-19 Task Force leadership and based on the current state of COVID-19 in the territory. The changes for travel and entry into American Samoa requires that any person entering the territory must complete a health declaration. There are two ways to complete the health declaration. First, through the traveldeclaration.as.gov, and second, paper forms upon arrival in American Samoa. All entering the territory are no longer required to upload proof of full vaccination or need to wait for pre-travel approval. Instead, all must complete the health declaration, about 8 questions, either online via American Samoa Travel Declaration Portal or via physical or form upon arrival. Travelers who have previously been approved on Talofa Pass for upcoming flights need not take further action. The American Samoa government encourages all travelers to complete the American Samoa Travel Declaration online prior to travel for expedited entry. Mole sila fia le atunu o fōlinga i o le tuatusi i lunga upenga te whailangi e tali ai fesili nei ale soi fumaloina pe a malanga mai le territory. Bo tangata ua maia o na resitara i lunga le talo whapaz, e le toe mo mia o na resitara i lunga le tuatusi nei, a wā o lea ua iai uma whamtalanga ai o e paule me mo mia o na whai o le tali lea o fesili le soi fumaloina. E pei ona whailo atu e au ngā tele le whaatu mo vaenga nei e tau whiai le umi ona tutu i laina pe a tau mai le vaa i le malai vaa lele tafuna. To complete the health declaration by clicking on the traveldeclaration.as.gov and follow the steps as provided. The Governor's Office has clarified that for travelers already on the Talofa Pass system, you are not required to apply again or fill out any additional forms again. If you have already registered on Talofa Pass, then you are set. You do not need to fill out another health declaration. E silia ma le 50 tangata whai bisinisi le au whai whale ainga leo le a awai de wha moe le mtanga luengo whi whaatawa inga ma la manuia le ua ta ua o le swap meet leo le a mawai le a vanua mo le au whai bisinisi ma le au whai whale ainga mo le whaatawi nātu o loa ma mea tau mawhai le atunuu. The swap meet event hosted by the Department of Commerce will soon get underway in the territory. More than 50 local vendors that have already registered with the Department of Commerce will participate in the swap meet on Saturday this week. Here is more on this story. Ole whaamoemoe pe ona tapena tu iai le mtanga ruengo whiwhaatau inga mala manuia mo le aso tona i ole vai aso nei le OMV tafuna. Ole tu le whiwhaatau inga e whai le au whai bisinisi ma le au whai whale aina. Ina ia mawhai ai o na o atu nisi o le atu e moli mawina le whaamoemoe e pe o nalo tuai nisi o le au whai bisinisi le atu no. I se whatatanoanga le KVZK ma se tasi usui mai le mtanga ruengo whiwhaatau inga mala manuia ya Dr. Siniva Man. Na ia saunoai e whaamanino le whaamoemoe o le aalo tuai le latu matanga ruenga I le vai aso nei.
O le fofuanga leo o tau mwhai atoi po tapena pena I fo ile mato matanga ruenga mo la stona I nei. O lo ta uale o le BizFest po se ava no le fo ile o mwhaina mato tu inato I pisinisi la iti po ila tau fo I o lo tau amataina la tau pisinisi. Ine mawhaina la tau tu inato mwhata watu o loa la tau o loa fo I whapena ona whata wina. O le whamoemoe lava le nei matanga luenga I nei mawhai o na mato tu ina tuawa noa mo tangata anu lava Amerika Samoa. Ina ia mawhai o na whalawa I tele ina le tūlanga o le tamau ainga I le ngata I tono ainga. Ia me se foi tono she tato malo nei. O le nei la fofuanga o le whatanu ina I le OMV I le mai le se fulu I le tae au se pa ia le tolu le fiafi.
Na tawa fo ia Siniva le au ngao le whaamoemoe le nei mo tangato le atino ina ia mawai nisi awala ma mea tutia fo mo le whaatawatu o loa ma mea tau mawhai le atino ai ele ngata I lea o le a mawai fo I ma le awanoa whai pisinisi la iti e whaatawa tuai ala tau mea tau mawha I le aso tonai. The Department of Commerce will be hosting a BizFest or swap meet on Saturday this week at the OMV in Tafuna from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. All local vendors that will be participating in the swap meet on Saturday will be promoting local items and products as well as exhibiting Samoan artwork. Tufanua Mase of the Department of Commerce told KVZK News their main goal for this event is to empower our local entrepreneurs.
So the Department of Commerce will be hosting the first ever swap meet / BizFest this Saturday, November 19th at the Tafuna OMV from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So we'll be promoting buy local items, products, as well as exhibiting Samoan artwork and talent that exists within our community. But our main goal for this BizFest is to empower our local entrepreneurs. We will have 50 plus vendors on site showcasing a variety of food, arts and craft, as well as retails. So we will also have our business, trade and investment team on site. So if you need assistance with renewing your application or applying for one, we do. Please come on down and we'll have a team to assist you.
Tufanua also touched on the importance of this event for our local entrepreneurs so the community can witness the effort, the hard work put in by all small businesses in the territory. O le atato walo tu mo sina malolonga pupu atu e tili mai o na whaawina atu lea utala mai lau KVZK. We'll take a short break, plenty more coming up, so stay with us. Astica teaming up with the Agency for Better Living endeavors to bring the famous Bunyalawa to the territory. In Egypt, Samoa's Prime Minister Phimena Mibutaafa says more action on climate change is needed. And Bainiarama predicts his party will do well in the next election.
Notice of intended action. The Office of Financial Institution intends to promulgate the administrative rule below, pursuant to the authority vested in the Office of Financial Institutions by American Samoa, Code Annotated Section 281203. In summary, these changes will create capital adequacy requirements for depository institutions doing business in American Samoa that are not insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation or the National Credit Union Administration. Interested persons who wish to submit comments or request a hearing on this matter may submit comments in person to CV John R. Marsh, Commissioner Office of Financial Institutions at the Georgina Building, by email at john.marsh@tr.as.gov or by mail to Department of Treasury, attention, Commissioner John Marsh, Executive Office Building, Pango Pango, American Samoa, 96799 by December 5th, 2022. Rule number 2022-0004, Title 28, Finance and Financial Institutions, Chapter 1, Capital Adequacy, 280101, Incorporation of FDIC Capital Adequacy Regulations. Each depository institution doing business in American Samoa whose deposits are not insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation or the National Credit Union Administration shall comply with the minimum capital requirements set forth in 12 Code of Federal Regulations, Part 324, applicable to an FDIC supervised institution as defined in 12 Code of Federal Regulations Section 3242 that has made the AOCI opt-out election under 12 Code of Federal Regulations Section 32422B2I. Each reference in the preceding sentence to a regulatory provision is deemed to be a reference to that provision as from time to time amended, re-promulgated, or substituted. Approved by Tuasivi John R. Marsh, Commissioner, Office of Financial Institutions. Re-promulgated or substituted. Approved by Tuasivi John R. Marsh, Commissioner, Office of Financial Institutions.
O te toe whaatalo whantu le toe tali mai o tala mai lau KVZK. O le whairi la wiloa le punia la waa le ua whaamonia le taunu mai Amerika Samoa moana whaafiefianga. O le o mai ai o le whaile le punia la waa i Amerika Samoa. O le ngaluenga whai whaatasi le astika ma le vaenga le ebo mo le whaafiefino tangato le atunu u. Ai mai seu ilantou o le o afie le whaamai o le mafufau po o le Alzheimer's. O le whaili le nei o le punia la waa o sitasi o whaili wala wiloa i le telefo i o tausanga talu na whaavai mai le au whaipese. O le ua whaataunu le astika le whaamoimoe mo le punia la waa e whaafiafia whaapitoa i le vaiaso le aso whaafetai le e pau i le aso lua se fulutolu le masina nei ai e mata fuai le atunuu i le aso lua se fululima i whaafiafianga le punia la waa i le matawhanga i utulei. The famous Punia Lava band is coming to American Samoa. This year, Astika has stepped in to partner with the Agency for Better Living Endeavors, or ABLE, to bring Punia Lava for families to enjoy. ABLE in a press statement says, "We are grateful to partner with Astika to support bringing Punia Lava, one of Samoa's oldest and most loved groups of all time, for our community to enjoy. Family values and importance of caring for our elderly and those in need is part of our Samoan culture and part of Astika's commitment to our community. Astika's support has made it possible for Punia Lava to be in American Samoa during the week of Thanksgiving for a corporate event on November 23rd and a free benefit concert for families on November 25th at Utulei Beach." I talamaya pia na saunole te maita I pale mi o Samoa tututasi a fia me na mi bata afa e wha malusia le whiawa Samoa e ala le I vaenga wha whai Samoa ina ia tūlanga tutusa pia a wala wha na tinati di lalolangi atoa e pei ona vaaya I le taime le wha mai o le COVID se fulmaleiva o lo awaide te maita I pale mi a fia me na mi bata afa I se fulmtanga ma lunga lona lua le COP27 I Sharm el Sheikh. Na ta ua le whailo tusi le au tusi tala I Samoa e whaapea o lo una ia pe fia meni si o taitai le malo I le tūlanga o ngai oinga le luitau o le tau e pe tai e tele mata upu au tū na mori mawina I le taime le whonutanga I Sharm el Sheikh mo atu ulai to le Pasifika. The Prime Minister of Samoa, Honourable Fiamena Naomi Mataafa, has delivered a strong national statement calling for parties to place the same level of global urgencies as seen for the COVID-19 pandemic to meet 1.5-degree pathway. Fiamena is attending the second high-level segment of the COP27 in Sharm el Sheikh, Egypt. According to the press secretary Tina Pia, the Prime Minister is urging leaders for upscaled ambition on climate mitigation, adaptations, responses, funding for loss and damage, improved access to climate finance, and placed emphasis on a climate-ocean nexus. However, little convergence has been witnessed in Sharm el Sheikh on the key issues for small island states. E tala le Pasifika e tani tonu le palemi o Fiti a Frank Baniarama o te ngata Fiti ngā lulue malolosi e mana na o ilana whai ngā malo ina ia ngā lulue pēr mō le atinu pe a o mai le whai ngā palota i la susfuma le whao te sema. Na tā ue Baniarama i se ata na pueina po o le video e whaapea o le to'atele o te ngata e mana na o i se mea e sili mō ainga matupulanga I lulu manai o se mea I le mawhai e ana fili whaapolikiki o na tu inatu mō le malo. Ele I atoa se masina taru na mai a le whainga palota, ele I whaaseina le teitai mua Fiti le tau o le whainga palota, mana ia whailuai le sili o na taua I le tala whaasalopito le atunuu. In our news from the Pacific, Fiji's Prime Minister Frank Bainimarama believes hardworking Fijians want his government to keep working for the country as campaigning for the December 14th election heats up. In a video message to his supporters, Bainimarama claimed most people want what is best for families and future generations, something his political opponents cannot deliver. With elections just under a month out, the Fiji First Leader is under no illusion about the significance of the polls, declaring it the most important in the country's history. E talama le lalolangi ua whaaliluina mai le BBC. O lea ua whaamautu mai le vainga whaapufai le Republicans e lua se lau suma le varu no foa e mo mia e malo ai mo le mauta maulalo po le lower chamber. O le to'atele usui le party le mauta usui e whaatuse lea e pei o le manife le matatafi po le race-a-thin ai ua lava lea e tau fiai fuafanga le presidente o Joe Biden mo le isi dua tausanga. O lo o tu maupea le pule whaatemkalasi le mauta mawalunga o le senate. O le na whailo mai e le na presidente mua le United States ia Donald Trump o le a ia toi tauwā. O le vailuanga o le pulea o Washington na amatalia I le palota o le vaiasu taluai. Le na whaamoimoe ai le vainga whaapufai le Republicans e pulea uma mauta e lua. O le vainga whaapufai le Republican ua fuafua nei e manumalo I le va o le lua se lau se fumalevalu I le lua se lau lua se fulutolu no fua I le mota e wha se lau tolu se fululima no fua o le mota. In our world news, Republicans have secured the 218 seats needed to win a majority in the lower chamber of the U.S. Congress. The party's majority in the House of Representatives is razor thin, but it is enough to stall President Joe Biden's agenda for the next 2 years. It marks a return to divided government, with Democrats still retaining power in the Senate. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump has announced he will run again. Split control of Washington was ushered in by last week's midterm elections, in which the Republicans, who had hoped to win back control of both chambers, underperformed expectations. The Republican Party is now projected to win between 218 to 223 seats in the 435 seats in House. Usi mai lola mai mo I se whainga bo se reporti mai le tau mo Amerika Samoa I le nea fiafi. O se whainga o le tau I le pōna nei o I le pōla sa wharaile ma teri na awawa e te olu timunga ma lua fitus furuvalu, vele val se furuono, sa vide angi le lautasi o le se furu mai le li tula. aso tona i o le pole aso sai ma tiri na awa e ta ape solutimu ve vele va se fulvalu ma lu e fitus river sa vedi mai sauti sai se fulu des fulu mai le litula. Looking at tonight's weather through Friday night, it's mostly cloudy, scattered showers, lows around 78, highs around 86, variable winds up to 10 miles per hour. Looking at Saturday through Sunday night, it's mostly cloudy, scattered showers, highs around 88, lows around 79, southwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. And that's your weather for this evening. Ole whaiunga na nau tala mai lau KVZK, manuia tele au whainga malolonga na nea fiafi tau whasifua. And that concludes your news from KVZK TV. We'll have plenty more for you tomorrow. Until then, enjoy the rest of your night.
Ladies and gentlemen, may please rise for the arrival of the Honorable Governor of American Samoa and the First Lady. Malo le tunu se tatou tutulai, palo alo ele fio mai le komunisile le malo Amerika Samoa. Ya, fa pele msiafu. Please be seated. Ole a kauko pe ia wha mainga o le tolo loto, mamalu, mapaia o le neyaso. A ese le angale lei o le atua le nei tai au fou, ua toe laulua fesila fai le mamalu o le malo, le fio o le kopan sili ma le mesiofo whapea le whainga malo tui le manua. Le ngata voi le nā o le awhio mai o tātou malo whaalolongia, o fioanga mai le malo Samoa ia mai se le mamanu o le whananga fulu ma tutuila ma le manu tele i le ua o toitu nei le si uia e o sau le valoloa tulou na ia le whananga fulu whapea le manu tele tulou ngā leo songa tu mua mapule a inga i le tai ma le to o le fua tama mau lātou a inga foi ma lātou tama tulou na lava a o le toi aso le nei o le nei wha moe moe i le o la tuli loa le mano nei foa e pei o le muafi talainga le melea le mamanua o le tunu ma le au wala ulia o te bala au wha alo atu ia i le au whai pese mai le fioanga mai le kalesia whangaalu la tau te langia le vi inga e amata mea i le atua le nei tai ao. A maea o na o walawina lea o le sunga i ala no manga pa au. O le sunga i le lifa i fe au mai le ka le sia wha potopotonga ke rusiano i whangalu na te amataina le nei wha moe moe i le tātou sauninga. Whaftai.
Santa,
e whamanatu. Ni si upu mai le fiong pa ia le antua. E taura i aile toi aso le nei o lo wha moe moe Amerika Samoa. Mo moe ia, i nā whai antu i le nātau le lea, ia wha pe atu. E ai nā Jerusalema e o i whaoa ai, ona o le tele o tangata ma manu e iai. Ia whalau tele le mea tu wailo whale ie. Ia whalo ina ie pui pui o mea te nofo ai. Aua e te whaai titia. Ia wha umi ina au maia. Ma ia malo losi au whao. O au foi. O wheta lai mai ai le li. E whai au ma paafia si o si o ai. E whai fo ia au ma pupula i te tonu i ante ia. Wa tu ina mai i ante au le pule umalawa i le langi ma le lalo langi. O le nei. Ia o tau atu e whai nuu malama masoo. Baptiso atu i ante i lantou le suafa o le tamale alo ma le ngang pa ia. Ma ia o tau iloa. O te i ante o tau. E o lava i nganta anga o le lalo langi. E whai au ma paafi e si o ai. E whai fo ia uma pupula i te tonu i ante ia. I will be a wall of fire round about, and my glory will be unto you. A tapule malalango fatasi malea tua faiva. Ona to leo manuia. O faiva e tapule malalango fatasi malea tua. Ona to leo fa manuyanga. O le mau e masani ai to. E le ngao le maota i whanga. E le tu fua foi tu langa maota o tupu. E le ngao foi malai tofia. Ai sea. Le ngao lo ta oto ai. Fau tau tanga lo loto. Ma le tō whamanino. Ai amanu i onu. E le ai se pa malosi. E sili atu lona malosi. Nai lole ma malu o le atua e si o aile nu. O le feau le na longo ina le profeta o Sakaria. Fai mai a. Ta moe ia fai atu le nata ule lea. E ai na Jerusalema e o i whaoa ai. E whaatu mulia i tangata atoa mamanu. Aua. Fai le tau le lea le na. Aua le fuatia Jerusalema. Aua. E le sau mea le na. Aua e te pule le mea e le sau mea. Mea le na le atua. Le mamalu e sio ai le ai. Mea le atua. Le mamalu le na Jerusalema. Le atua sili ese. Le mamalu le atua. Si o mia ai Jerusalema maona pa. Fai mai. Fai le tau le na. Aua. Wale ai ai fu le mele o ia ilo loa. Mele na le atua. I will be a wall of fire round about. Leo ina ile nu. Malu ai o le ele. Sanga le mu ai o tangata. Amerika Samoa. Le pale na si o ai o malo. Le mamalu le na o le atua. Sanga le mu ai o fainga malo. Le mamalu le na o le atua. E tapule ai malalango ai o faiva mo tai au. Ona to leo manuia. Ona langa leo manu. E te se ai i le manuia. Tau wau ngā tūpulanga. O ngā tūpulanga e whaalau tele le mea tū ai le whale ie. Ua ta oto mai whanua ngase. O tātou whainga mātua. Nā sainga le ngasua le tai au. Amerika Samoa. O tātou wau ngā tūpulanga, ea, whaalau tele, le mea e tū ai le whale ie. Whalo ina au maia. Malolosi au whao. Mai whea. Mai whaiva e tapule, malalango whatasi ma le antua. Toi aso le nei o lo wha moe moe Amerika Samoa. Pa wale o le wha manatu o le tala le lei. Le ai se isi malosi, e malu ai lau whainga malo. Le ma malu o le antua. Tapule ai au whaiva. La lango ai, au whai unga. Ona manuia lea, au whainga malo i le numanai. Manu mai langi to enga o le nei asu. Au ali tia le mana o le antua. There is no stronger wall rather than the glory of God. Le ai se isi pa malosi, sili atu, nai lo le mamalu o le antua Amerika Samoa. Tātou tutalo. Wha moe moe Santa Pule, ma la lango whaatasi ma le atua mai lona amatanga. Le lava o mātou whaawa wina ili manuia i ngā solonga amanta o le nei asu. Le atua whaafetaitele i lo walofa. Whanunga mātanga o fia o le asu fau ma le tae au fau. O ailau whanau i manuia. Saonga le mu ai le atunuu. Le au wala au lia ma utangata. Mātou whaawa wina. Tō enga o le nei wha moe moe singa fu o Amerika Samoa i le nei tausanga. O la mātou tu talo le antua. Awa lava e tu la fwai i mātou. Leo ina i mātou i lo alofa tu noa. Lo mamalu sili sili ese. Ia mua au muli au si o mia ai lau whanau. Ina ia tau manu le whai unga o le nei asu. Tu mau mai lau fia mo i mātou. I le amatanga o le nei wha moe moe. E o lava i lona whai unga. Ma ia mawalunga lo vi inga i so se mea mātou te iai. Ona o lou lava suafa Yesu wa mātou mua i vala awai. Amene.
Au te whai masui o le maloe, mo le atu le whaftai tele i lau sunga i le whengainga, mai le kalesia i whangalu, mo le tātou sauninga o le nei tae ao. Whamanuia le atua i lau sunga ma le whaletua ma le ngā ruenga, mai se foi le mamanu le whai pese sa lātou vivi ia, viinga o le atua mo le nei tae ao. Ia, whaili ma tātou leo, ia, whase e tua wao, wha mole mole, se tau whaanga, a manoa le malae mo le porokalama o le nei tae au fau. A o wha o lioli mai, le fioanga o lano, i samai. Ia, o lea ua whakale neina, o le aso le nei, tau te tu vao ina ai le tātou whawhiawhianga le nei aso. Tā pena pena le mu mai le manu le whianga. Ai au te wala au whaalo alo atu i le. Pa ia o le ainga sa tuala, mau pū. Ia le mamalua lea i le. E tai mai o malai ulu. O le batua fitalai o sa tuala masale mulianga. Ia, a whia maia. Whia maia se ei. Whailo tau sao o tau malanga mamau mai. Ia a waa foi le nei wha moe moe. Whaingta foi le whia mai o whananga oti. Ia e maise le. Mamalu o le whianga.
O le matua fitalai na ia malai ulu la whaele. Ia o leo le a whai ma fonga o le whianga.
O le whianga lano.
O lano.
Malo la.
Tu la whaleta ua foi o le nei a whianga.
O ke iloa o leo ua mangava i le langi. Le ngā luenga fi kāma le paia. O wā le wha moe moe o le malo. Amerika Samoa. Ua mākou mangaku. Ua umaonga sa le whala ua umaonga pailango i le kua. Ua le ngā luenga manga ma le paia. Sa whea ngai ma le sunga i le wha whea ngai. Lale ua ku mai langi. Le langa alia kama whai ngā. Ao le kai ao le ngei ma le aso. E lei ku ngoa. E lei falala fua ululu la au le vau. E lei ka lolo fua ao le langi. O le ko faa sa fau au fau po. O le aso le ngei ma le masinga le ngei. O le sisinga fua kukuila mangua. Kali kongu la le faa moe moe. O le ale koe asa inga e sa mako wha mkalanga. Leo ngā sami ua umau ngā aloe. Pa ia e le wha whea ngainga. Fo i le kua longa vi inga. O le wha moe moe ua kaungu. O le la au o le soifua. Kuila mua. Mua muonga mako wha whika yaku. Wha whika ionga o le awa ngō wha aulo. Ua makala mai mo le ngengu. Le mafua anga leo lo mako lau ku aku. Kukuila ngei. O le paia o mao kai fia. O wale falenga fulu ma le mangua kele. Kali kong walo mako wha moe moe. Ua umaonga sui fili ma whaka oko e le au ka laia. E le mawhaia sa mako upu. O ngā wha mapu e pu e inga. O mamalu, mapaia, o leo ao i lupe lele ngei. Wale paia i le whalenga fulu. Whapea le mangua kele. Kulonga ia, lau whainga malo a Melik Samoa. Lau a fionga i le liko vana. Lau a fionga i le sui ko vana. O le paia lava lea uasua ma le vai whangua. O fō mai kulangi. Sa ole masale au mua. Ka mali mangua gele. Male lau ngiu nga sae lua. Le lewa papai ki a yulupanga. Le lewa e le paia le au vala au lia. O wale fio mai. Lau a fionga i le li pale mia. Kui la epa. Sa i lele malia le ngaoi. Ai kai ngange le mamalu a lau whainga malo. Ka pengeka, masui fai puleo, hoi kumaloka i kasi. O leo wae, le maua lunga o le au vala au lia, ai so se malo le lalo langi. O leo papai ki a yulupanga. Ua mako mangaku foi, e le kau wha pue pue inga i sa mako upu. O sa mawhai ngā o paia le popo mapai le solo. Wai le ki waifo le ngong, wai le liu waifo le fuyongo. Lau au le fiso lau o le kolo. E ala e kasi le maunga yolo. A o le wha mo mai wa kaungu. O le la au o le soifu e pe o sa ungo i eile. Sunga le wha whengai. Wha whikai mo le avungoa. Le le wafio mai sa kuala. Whale ngā oki malo wapsuang sua. O maliu mai malai ulu ma le whale upolu o kofinga. Se i whai so mako sao. O mako mangaku. O le a mako le whalo inga le awhalo loa. O oko sila mai. Ua vevela le la. E iei leo le karikongunga o malai ulu. Alo mai. O leo le akau mwhai aku. Le paia o sa kuala mwhale ngā oki. Malo wapsuang msua. Malai ulu masale muriang. Fa pefoi lingei ku malo. Manguia le so mal fa mo.
Ua lolongo fa ba ku il malai ngei le. Sau noanga i lau. Ko fa malai ulu. Ia o lau ko fa fo o le makua fikalai o le ainga o sa kuala. Ka oko lau lua fitalainga. Leo ai le so. Sau se kaimi o ngapa i le iai o le malo ma le whalenga fulu. A wafo i le whakamala pe whakau ngavale. Ia ele ko ai mai ka hu mai. Ia o le mamalu o le whioanga mai savai. Ai aro i lo whaipa. Malo, whaafitai, fitalai, whaafikai launga.
Ia, le nāua mai atu le talainga i le mtuaf talai a malai ulu la faele. O le fofonga fo i o le fioanga o lano. Ia o le usau ni mai moli o li mai le au siva. I le lato siva. Ia msalo a mai ai on sau ni mai le o le lato pese.
Ese le matango fio tamai tai malarato. Yes.